Liebe Gäste des Digi Derma Day 2.0. Ich freue mich sehr und außerordentlich bereits zum zweiten Mal, das merkt man an einem 2.0, den Digi Derma Day des Berufsverbandes der deutschen Dermatologen moderieren zu dürfen. Und im Namen des gesamten BVDD-Teams, und Sie werden auch einzelne Teilnehmerinnen und Teilnehmer und Mitgliederinnen und Mitglieder kennenlernen, darf ich Sie herzlich willkommen heißen. Eine besondere Veranstaltung geht in die zweite Runde. Und liebes BVDD-Team, ich schaue jetzt einmal, Sie wissen, wenn man Dinge dreimal macht, dann wird es eine Tradition. Ich schaue gerade den Präsidenten einmal lächelnd an. Wir stehen kurz vor einer Tradition. Und meines Wissens ist tatsächlich dieses Engagement seitens ärztlicher Berufsverbände, dieses Engagement wirklich einzigartig immer noch. Und Sie alle dürfen sich hier auf einen wirklich sehr, sehr spannenden Nachmittag freuen. Lassen Sie mich ganz kurz aufzeigen, was Sie so knapp die nächsten 3 Stunden erwartet. Ja, es sind 3 Stunden. Ja, wir werden hier alle gut durchhalten, aber Sie haben auch Getränke an den Tischen, sodass Sie sich ein bisschen erfrischen können. Wir werden inspirierende und wirklich spannende Impulse von Stakeholdern aus dem Gesundheitswesen hören und ein Stückchen weit auch sehen. Es gibt tatsächlich auch eine Videobotschaft. Und Sie alle, diese Stakeholder, die mit uns, zu uns sprechen wollen und werden, vereint ein Ziel. Sie wollen ein digitales und patientenorientiertes Gesundheitswesen in Deutschland. Dann 5 Scale-Ups, Grown-Ups. Wir werden hier nicht von Start-ups sprechen, denn alle 5 Digital Health Companies, die heute hier in Start-up-Manier noch pitchen werden, sind tatsächlich schon Companies, die im Markt sind, und die werden wir dann heute auch noch hören. Und das Beste an diesem Tag, das darf ich Ihnen jetzt allen hier direkt einmal so mitgeben, sind Sie alle hier, alle Gäste, die mit dabei sind. Denn Sie werden und können im Rahmen des Speed-Datings, ich erkläre noch das, wie es sozusagen abläuft heute Nachmittag, Sie werden die Gelegenheit haben, mit all diesen 5 Gründerteams in den Austausch zu gehen. Sie werden Feedbackgeber sein. Sie werden Experten aus Ihrem Bereich sein. Und Sie teilen genau dieses Expertentum dann mit den Digital Health Companies. Am späten Nachmittag erwartet uns noch eine besondere Preisverleihung. Ja? Don't get me wrong. Diese 5 Companies, hier geht es nicht um einen Preis zu gewinnen. Es geht wirklich um den Austausch. Trotzdem haben wir noch einen kleinen Sonderpreis, den wir dann auch am späten Nachmittag noch verleihen werden. Und natürlich haben wir auch am späten Nachmittag, Zeitvorgabe ist 17 Uhr, tatsächlich die Gelegenheit, noch bei einem Meet and Mingle in den weiteren Austausch zu gehen. Dort werden Dermatologen und Dermatologinnen sozusagen auch noch mit dazustoßen und mit ihnen auch noch mal in den Austausch gehen. So, und jetzt darf ich aber bitte mit einem Riesenapplaus den Gastgeber dieses Nachmittages, dieses Digi Derma Days 2.0, den Präsidenten des Berufsverbandes der deutschen Dermatologen, Dr. von Kiedrowski, auf die Bühne bitten. Bitte schön. Give it a hand. Genau, lieber Herr Dr. von Kiedrowski, schön, dass Sie da sind.
Ja, vielen Dank, Frau Hanneken. Guten Tag, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen, liebe Gäste, liebe Grown-ups oder liebe Digital Health Teams. Alles stimmt wahrscheinlich heute.
Das ist richtig, Herr Dr. von Kiedrowski. So, was sind denn Ihre Erwartungen für diesen heutigen Nachmittag?
Ja, ich glaube, Sie haben die Hürde sehr hoch gestellt, denn alleine schon von einer Tradition zu sprechen und digitale Themen voranzubringen, das ist, glaube ich, auch etwas, was für den Berufsverband schwierig ist, aber schön, wenn wir in diese Sphären vorpreschen können. Also ich glaube, wir haben ja im Berufsverband schon über Jahre immer wieder gezeigt und auch weiterentwickelt, dass digitale Themen eine große Bedeutung haben in einem eben visuellen Fach wie der Dermatologie. Das hat angefangen mit Videosprechstunde, das hat eben auch angefangen mit Online-Angeboten. Und wir haben im letzten Jahr, keine 9 Monate nachdem im digitalen Versorgungsgesetz DiGAs überhaupt implementiert wurden, dann hier an Ort und Stelle, Sie haben es ja gerade erwähnt, eben dieses erste Start-up-Café veranstaltet. Und die Resonanz war so groß und auch für den Berufsverband so bestärkend, dass es dann eben ein 2.0 geben musste. Und es heißt eben auch nicht mehr Digi Derma Start-up Café, sondern jetzt eben Digi Derma Day, weil wir eben jetzt in diesem Jahr das Ganze nochmal erweitert haben. Und die große Aufgabe wird sein, auf der einen Seite die Innovation weiter im Fach nach vorne zu bringen. Dafür wollen wir ja die Kontakte haben. Und das Zweite wird aber sein, den Spagat zu den Kollegen in den Praxen nochmal hinzukriegen. Denn dort ist Digitalisierung in einem sehr technischen Rahmen noch nicht ganz so weit fortgeschritten. Und das ist Ziel dieser heutigen Veranstaltung.
Ja, man sieht jetzt schon den Erfolg, denn Sie bringen ja tatsächlich genau diese beiden, ich nenne sie jetzt mal Parteien zusammen, ja? Diese beiden Teams, diese beiden Lager auch. Herr Präsident, was sind denn Ihre Erwartungen für heute? Worauf freuen Sie sich am meisten?
Ja, also erstmal hier zu sein. Das ist ja auch in diesem Jahr unter Corona-Bedingungen gar nicht so einfach. Wir wissen, dass nicht alle, die wollten, auch herkommen konnten, sind deswegen aber auch ja eben digital live dabei. Und auch heute Abend werden wir wahrscheinlich mehr Zuschauer vor den Fernsehgeräten haben, wie das so schön heißt, als im Saal. Aber da zu sein und den Austausch zu haben und eben wieder einen Schritt weiterzukommen, denn die Zeit rast und auch die Entwicklung rast. Und insofern muss man dann einfach tatsächlich dabei sein. Das ist, glaube ich, das, was wir im Berufsverband seit Jahren nicht durch mich, ja, sondern eigentlich auch durch Klaus Strömer, den wir gleich ja noch hören werden, vorantreiben. Und ich habe nur das Glück, dass ich das jetzt hier fortführen kann.
Auch ein großes Glück für uns, denn ich muss jetzt noch mal Ihr Expertenwissen anzapfen, wie man so schön sagt. Geben Sie uns doch mal einen Insider-Tipp. Wo liegt aktuell die größte Herausforderung in der dermatologischen Versorgung aus Ihrer Sicht? Nennen Sie uns eine.
Das in einem Wort zu sagen, ist ganz schwierig, aber ich glaube, wenn wir mal jetzt die Wahlen in 14 Tagen ganz rauslassen, was auch schon schwierig ist, dann ist eine der größten Herausforderungen gerade eben diese neuen Medien in die Realität, in den Alltag zu überführen, was sehr viel Umdenken erfordert und was letztlich aber das Potenzial, das wir auch brauchen in der Versorgung, dann wahrscheinlich eben auch in die Praxen bringt und damit an den Patienten. Das dürfen wir nicht vergessen. Es geht nicht um die Ärzte, es geht nicht um die Unternehmen, es geht um die Versorgung der Patienten und die ist eben nicht ganz leicht, wenn auch in Deutschland natürlich auf einem hohen Stand und den wollen wir bewahren.
Vielen Dank. Ich glaube, das eint Sie mit all den Teilnehmerinnen und Teilnehmern, die hier sind. Eine gute patientenorientierte dermatologische Versorgung. Vielen Dank, Herr Präsident.
Ich habe zu danken.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Sophia Schlette. And yes, you all heard it right. We are switching to an international language. And that has a really good reason. Because today we have digital health companies here, which are not only from Germany and not only from Europe. So please, we're now switching to it. And now I'd like to welcome you, the CEO of the BVDD, and actually the co-founder of this event. And I always say the secret source, because if she wouldn't be here, we all wouldn't be here and have the second Digi Derma Day. So please, Sophia, thank you that you're on stage with me.
Thank you for the warm welcome and thank you for facilitating this again. Am I supposed to say something?
Oh, of course. Okay. Since I said you're the secret source, we kind of want to know, what are you expecting in the future? What kind of digital healthcare system are we driving towards?
I think we're not talking about the future. I think we're talking about today. And when I look back at my own international experience, I was already entirely digitally taken care of in California in 2009 and in 2010, and I keep coming back to that. Maybe I'm getting old, but this was an entirely digitalized system, very data-driven. Data was fed into the monitoring of care, and then it was fed back into care. So it's pretty much like our advisory board to the governments is that there has to be some back and forth between good clinical data in research, and then also the research has to be fed back into the clinical practice. So it's a circle, or maybe it's a spiral, because we're getting better. This is a concept of quality improvement as well in there. And of course, I love working for the Dermatology Association, because they are very much into health services research. They are very open to digital technologies. And so I find a lot of what I still miss in care at large in Germany, but I think we are on a good path. I still don't quite understand why it's taking so long. And there's one other thing. We like to talk about problems in Germany, whereas in other countries you talk about challenges and then you talk about how to solve them. And I like that spirit. I like that spirit of looking forward and being innovative, finding out new ways, not being perfect. Perfect is the enemy of the good, but having something to contribute to all of us. And what I liked the most when I was working in California is actually that the doctors, or when I speak to Spanish doctors or Israeli doctors, they love it. They just love working with digital tools and they embrace it. And for them, they are all very technically oriented. They are data driven because they measure everything about their patients. So why not measure these things in a digitalized way and having the data all in one place? And so maybe it's more than dermatology, but I think we are one of the best groups, of the pioneering groups, to actually start this process.
That, I would say, you are. Thanks a lot, Sophia.
Thank you.
I think the BVDD doesn't need to worry because, hosting that event, it shows that they're one of the first mover and the one who wants to have a digital healthcare system. Now, I really like to welcome Dr. Klaus Strömer, the former president of the BVDD, and actually he is now the digital health advisor of the BVDD. So please come join me at the stage. And guess what? I really, thrilling to hear and see, because you are sharing now your vision of a digital dermatologic vision in Germany, right?
I try to.
Okay, you go.
Yes, hi. First of all, a very warm welcome to all our international guests from Spain, Hungary, Netherlands, UK, Palo Alto in California, and of course from Germany. The digital transformation is a challenge for our German health system that should not be underestimated. We as dermatologists too are still struggling to keep up with the speed and innovative power of digital companies. But you have to give us credit for at least trying seriously. We are looking forward to learn a lot from you this afternoon and to get a better understanding on how your world works and beats. We are also firmly convinced that a successful implementation of your major concepts to the health market is only possible in cooperation with the specialists providing care. We want to and we will support all our partners in doing so. Your ideas and products will sustainably change the face of dermatology in the coming years. Our task in this process is, among other things, to ensure the custom specialist quality standard for our patient, the digital interaction as well. So your expertise can lead to improved organization, to greater convenience for patients and doctors, and also stronger diagnostic and therapeutic certainty. Of course, this opportunity has also a second side. We as dermatologists and we as physicians are all skeptics by nature. And we have a high demand on safety and proof of efficacy. So the challenge for you as entrepreneurs and inventors is not only to convince us doctors of usability and feasibility, but also of efficacy and safety. And one more word to better understand the state of mind of many physicians. A roller coaster is interesting for most people, and they also want to experience how the ride feels. Yes, it scares them. Some decide to try it anyway and overcome the initial fear. These are the pioneers, and their experiences and reports will be decisive for others whether they will also dare. So first and foremost, win over the early adopters for your product and make compromises in return. Assistant programs for us doctors are much more likely to be accepted on the German market than those that enable a value chain bypassing the physicians. So let's work together. With this in mind and in spirit, we share a common approach. The Digi Derma Startup Café 2.0 has become more international, exciting, embracing, challenging. So fasten your seatbelt, put your seats and tables in an upright position, and get ready to ramble.
Thank you, Klaus. You all heard him, you know. That I call a jumping. So we all are upside down now? No, we're all straight now in our seats, and we have now the opportunity to listen to the CEO of the gematik. There are greetings from Markus like Deacon, and he's actually building the digital freeway for the German healthcare system. So please listen to the video greetings from like Deacon, and he's also, and I think is really fascinating, he is the patron of this event. So you can see that someone who's building the digital freeway for the German healthcare system is in collaboration, in cooperation with the BVDD, and is really willing to make it a digital healthcare system. So, video on. Not radio on, but video on,
Herzlich
please.
willkommen zu der heutigen Veranstaltung, meine Damen und Herren. Sowohl als Arzt als auch Chef der gematik freue ich mich sehr, dass wir hier zusammenkommen. Die Dermatologie ist sicherlich eine der Indikationen, von der Sie selber schon längst erkannt haben, dass sie besonders geeignet ist für digitale Tools. Wir bei der gematik begleiten Sie sehr in eine neue Welt dabei. Uns ist dabei bewusst, dass die EPA, das elektronische Rezept und viele andere Angebote, die wir machen, Ihnen zum Teil noch sehr binnendiffus erscheinen. Wir erleben sehr häufig, dass es Fragen zu unseren Produkten gibt und Spekulationen, die häufig viel mehr in die Sorge hineingehen, als die wirklichen Erlebnisse, die unsere Produkte am Ende erzeugen können. Natürlich machen wir uns auf, um die bislang relativ hölzerne Telematik geschmeidiger und nutzerorientierter zu machen. Dafür werden wir viele moderne Schritte gemeinsam mit Ihnen unternehmen. Und deshalb sind wir in intensiven Gesprächen mit vielen verschiedenen Fachgesellschaften in Deutschland. Die Kollegen, die heute bei Ihnen sind, werden Ihnen Rede und Antwort stehen und sehr viel deutlicher machen können, dass wir, glaube ich, gemeinsam einen sehr guten Weg hier beschreiten können, den gerade Dermatologen sehr zu nutzen wissen. Sie machen Telemedizin, aus der heraus Sie E-Rezepte formulieren können. Sie werden natürlich in der elektronischen Patientenakte eine Fülle von Befunden miteinander gut austauschen können, die zur besseren Versorgung der Patienten unmittelbar nutzbar werden. Deshalb freue ich mich sehr, dass wir heute einen erhellenden Termin haben. Die gematik ist sehr stolz und bedankt sich, dass sie dabei sein kann und freut sich auf einen erfolgreichen Tag mit Ihnen gemeinsam. Welcome. This is a great opportunity for all of us. Dermatology, which is so much prone for digital tools, is reuniting here with all sorts of startups, a good jury, and gematik. Gematik is one of the cornerstones of the digital infrastructure in Germany. So we're very delighted to be with you guys, because all together we have the opportunity to vitalize a very important indication with prevention, diagnostic, and therapy in digital tools. I'm very proud, and I'm very good that we are all together here.
So, that was the words to you from the CEO from the Digital Freeway. And now we are, seeking some more impulses, some more visions some more statements from the stakeholder, as I told you. And I really like to welcome on stage now, and we want to start with Eugenia Levin. She is the head of healthcare institutions and advocacy at Doctolib, and she is presenting now the ideas of the ecosystem of Doctolib. Please welcome on stage, Eugenia. You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for being here.
Das nicht, oder?
Oh, you.
Is that actually working?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, great. Then I will use that.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah, so my name is Eugenia and I'm very happy to be able to represent Doctolib here. And before I start, I want to extend a thank you to Sophia Schlette, but also in general to the German Dermatologist Association for allowing my colleagues and myself to be here today and to share the views of Doctolib and what needs to happen to really enable digital transformation of Germany's healthcare system. So at Doctolib, since our very early days, we are convinced that on the one hand, there are very practical things that can be done to improve the lives of healthcare professionals and also challenges in their everyday working lives that are actually not new. And at the same time, we also see the same for patients. So there are very simple things that can be done to improve transparency for them on what they can access in healthcare, then also improve healthcare access and also the patient experience overall. So since we started in 2013 in Western Paris in France, the number speaks for themselves that there is indeed an unmet need. Because ever since we've grown to a team of 2,200 people, now in France, Germany, and most recently also Italy. And we work with 217,000 healthcare professionals all over Europe. So not only doctors, but also their staff, actually. That's very important to us. And 60 million people in Europe have accounts on Doctolib. So today, however, I want to focus on Germany because that's the country I work for at Doctolib. And we are at a very interesting time here right now. And I've seen the colleague from Health Innovation Hub somewhere, and I'm sure he will speak about, over
right
there.
in the back. He's getting a headset.
Okay, so I don't want to go into a lot of detail about the legislative environment, just share very briefly what we at Doctolib have been looking at. And there's certainly the Digital Care Act that allowed for the introduction of digital applications in Germany and their comprehensive reimbursement. Another law that allows for those tools specifically in care settings. Then the law that is called in German Krankenhauszukunftsgesetz, so the Hospital Future Fund, that is basically a 3 billion euro bucket to incentivize hospitals to digitalize up to 11 processes along the patient journey in the hospital. And there's also the Act on the Protection of Patient Data, that will allow for the introduction of a research data center. And then we can learn from every treatment today for research and treatment of tomorrow. So we think that that's very exciting. However, I've, like 2 weeks ago, witnessed the speech of an MOH official who himself acknowledged that despite this very impressive amount of legislation that came and the legal groundwork that we now have, the digital transformation in Germany is still ahead of us. And why that? We at Doctolib actually agree with what he said, because it's not simply the legal groundwork or the availability of IT infrastructure that leads to digital transformation. It's more changing processes and really the willingness to do that and a stance to do that. And this is something we really try to live by. And how have we been doing that? Actually, since 2013. So for us, there are very concrete and prevailing challenges that our users are facing. And by users, for those who are not familiar with Doctolib, it's the patients on the one hand, and for us it's not necessarily sick patients, it can also be healthy people who are really interested in taking care of their prevention, of their wellness and so on. But then obviously also patients who, for example, face multiple chronic conditions and who require an effective management of their health involving different medical specialties and services. And then, of course, for us, it's also doctors, but across specialties, so dermatologists as well, but many others, and also across settings, so in the primary care setting and also in the hospital setting. And then we've been looking at very simple things. Like there are studies, for example, from the OECD that say that about a fifth of spendings in European healthcare systems are wasted. And why that? It's because bureaucracy and admin processes actually keep doctors from doing what they have to do, or add a lot of additional work on the table of patients, instead of just making things simple. And paradoxically, according to Deloitte, bureaucracy and admin is also the main reason why digital health doesn't end up in day-to-day healthcare delivery. And there are also needs about budgetary savings, and that's very clear, not least due to Corona, where many expenses had to be financed on top of out of the so-called Gesundheitsfonds, so the healthcare fund, and now it needs to be seen how to refill this again and from where. So, as you hear, these challenges and inefficiencies are not new and provide very tangible ground for us to deliver innovations that has high returns, but in terms of quality of life at work for our users. And therefore, in Doctolib, we've been looking from the very beginning at simple things like time saving or improved quality of healthcare delivery, which is ultimately linked to better patient outcomes, and also to budgetary savings for our users by making their lives efficient. So, how have we proceeded on that journey? There's one guiding principle we live by since 2013, and that's the principle of co-building. And for us, that means that we have a joint vision, which we develop together with our users, and that we let them decide how our journey continues. And translated, that means very concretely that we develop our services together with them, and that we have our users test our services very extensively at the different stages of development before the services are actually launched in any healthcare system. So for us, it's really the only way to make sure that they add true value in daily practice, because no one is as close to challenges and workflows and processes in daily practice as our users, and we think it would be foolish not to involve them the way we do it right now and have always done it. And just to give you one example, for one very big service that we are currently still developing, we have so far conducted 3 comprehensive surveys with more than 950 doctors each. We have conducted 14 half-day workshops involving 50 doctors each across specialties, and we have spent more than 110 hours of qualitative interviews with doctors and healthcare professionals from very different settings, so dermatology, but also many others. Yeah, and this has been very important for us, and now we continue to do that, but what's then the next step? You all know that, or maybe most of you know that we've been coming from online booking, and now the next step for us to really enable digital transformation is to look at so-called healthcare ecosystems. You can certainly also call it differently, but what we mean by that is that we have one digital backbone technology that enables a set of capabilities and also services that integrate several participants on one entire patient journey. And this can be, again, participants from different healthcare settings, but also different specialties. And for us, it's very clear that the patient should be at the heart of these interconnected services, and that's the stakeholder in the end to benefit from an integrated experience. But still, there are also some benefits for healthcare professionals. For example, that we can enhance provider productivity, ultimately also benefit for the patient. We can engage formal and informal caregivers. I said in the very beginning that for us, we see actually that it's often the staff of doctors that are in charge of using digital technologies and not the doctors themselves. So it's very important to keep them on board and also work with them. And we also want to improve outcomes and also affordability challenges by reducing unnecessary work. So therefore, we are convinced that digital health can only unfold its true power if all the different services and processes interact with each other. And that's why we are thinking more and more for the future across settings and across specialties. So there are 2 things now to make this a reality, and it's like one pillar is interoperability, but also portability of data. And the second pillar for us is what we would really want for Germany is the greatest possible integration between Germany's patient health record, the EPA, and all kinds of other services, even though these services may be outside the telematic infrastructure. Why? Because we believe that this will ultimately help to increase acceptance, but also usability of the EPA, of Germany's patient health record, in everyday life, so that people really want to use it. And then we also see great potential in the Hospital Future Act, especially in the patient portals, because these empower a patient in a totally new way. They enable a patient to take care of the own hospital journey while not even being in the hospital, and also prepare certain things very well, and also ultimately save hospital staff time. So we believe that all this is key, and to achieve that we need really an open-minded mindset in the heads of healthcare stakeholders, but also partnership-oriented mindsets. And as Sophia Schlette said in the very beginning, really a mindset that they want to act instead of waiting for the perfect solution. And actually, for us, Doctolib Act is one of the corporate values we try to live by day to really make things happen and advance things. So we are at Doctolib convinced that if we enshrine those mindsets in the heads of people, that we will have truly a transformation of our healthcare system for the better that goes beyond mere legislation or availability of IT infrastructure. Yeah, so this was our vision. Thank you very much again, and I look forward to exchanging with you about that.
Thank you, Eugenia. Thank you so much, for sharing your vision and your ideas, how you gonna build up an ecosystem. And let's, briefly say, I think you're already, going towards it. And maybe you find new partnerships here in the room on this event. Now I like to welcome on stage Dr. Henrik Mattis. He is serial founder, a pioneer of digital prevention in Germany. Actually, he built up Mimi. You should look that up. And he is the managing director of the HIH, the Health Innovation Hub. And please tell us all about your vision. The stage is yours.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for the warm introduction. I'm actually here today because I think that the Berufsverband of Dermatologists is doing something amazingly important, and not too many are currently following, but digital transformation will significantly change the entire setup of our healthcare system. And if you don't embrace it, and if you don't understand it in detail, it will not very much embrace you, it will just overrun you. So I'm amazed what's happening here. I want to very much encourage you to continue this work. I'm also very much positively surprised that the entire event is in English, so that we can actually have the very much existing international community here also contributing. And I don't need to tell much more, because Eugenia perfectly summarized all that we have done in the past 2.5 years already in her speech, so we have more time for Q&A. No, I'm going to summarize a bit also what we did so far, not as a Health Innovation Hub alone, of course, but the Ministry of Health, together with BfArM and all the other various institutions. Where do I have to click to make this work?
Let me see.
Is it on? Yeah. I only have 10 minutes, so I really have to be quick. We passed 28 laws, and I'm not going to summarize them all in detail, but if you just point me where I need to... Point.
All right.
Or you click, but then I have like 30 slides, and then I'm currently...
No, I think it's working now. Let's try. Yeah,
Perfect.
here you go.
So, thank you very much. We are the Health Innovation Hub think tank of the Ministry of Health, but very much also sparring partner not only to the ministry, but to the broader ecosystem, and a job like today where we explain what the ministry overall is doing, translating them to the various stakeholders is part of what we do. We will dissolve ourselves in about 3.5 months from now, so if you want to work with us, you have to be quick and reach out to us in the next days and weeks. We have a team of 15 domain experts, and these are true experts. We have, for example, the CIO of a larger hospital chain with us. We have a Stanford-grade data scientist, a pharmacist, startup people like me, medical data law experts, and much more. And we basically touched in the past 2.5 years of our existence everything that is around digitization in our healthcare system. And thanks to Jens Spahn and his very ambitious agenda, there was a lot to do. Now, I want to briefly jump into where we started in 2018 when the HRH idea was born, and we kind of were starting to build this up. The German healthcare system, especially in the hospital sector, not so much in ambulatory care, luckily, was then very much running on paper and pen, and a lot still is. You all know probably this study by Bertelsmann Foundation that found out that Germany is very much lagging behind, and only Poland is worse digitized than we had been back then. Now, why is digitization important? It's not a benefit in itself. It is the key driver for a better healthcare system. We all know that if we want to reach towards personalized medicine, we need data, and we need not just any data, and Eugenia just said it, it needs to be portable, interoperable, we need to understand the data, it needs to be structured, for example in FHIR and much more, to make sure that the decision the doctor is taking is based on the best data available for this specific need. And this only can work with a much improved digital infrastructure. Now, our healthcare system is pretty complex. Many people, especially from abroad, often ask us, why did it take you 15 years to build a telematic infrastructure? Well, it's not just because it's complex, there were also other reasons, but we have the healthcare system with probably the highest degrees of freedom. You can choose to whatever doctor you want to go to whichever hospital you want to go to, and even choose your health insurance. And those 3-level degrees of freedom you never have in any other system. If you go to the States, for example, you have to decide to which HMO you're going, and then they decide to which doctor you may be able to go or which hospital. So this is definitely something that makes it more complex, but it gives the patients many degrees of freedom. And then it's self-administered for sure. That's always complicated, as we know. The clicking still doesn't really work. Can you just click on the next slide? Thank you. So we have been quite busy in the past months. 28 laws were passed, 6 of them focused on digital health. That is pretty unprecedented in the history of at least the Ministry of Health, but probably also all the other ministries. And Eugenia pointed out to some of these laws already, and I will go into a bit more detail. COVID-19. No one had it on the radar, but it of course struck us, and it significantly changed the perception of digitization. And there's just one figure which I want to share with you, the figure of how many doctors were using telemedicine in Jan 2020 and in June 2020. No other event could have moved the vast majority of doctors and physicians into trying out this technology. Before, it was always an abstract threat. No one really wanted to deal with it. COVID hit, and there was simply no other way to reach out to your patients, so everyone had to start getting used to it and try it out. And now we have a discussion, not do we want to have digitization, yes or no, luckily, but how shall digitization change the way we do healthcare in Germany? I still don't know where to point, but I try various areas. Okay. One exclamation mark was Corona warning app for me, because if you looked into the media just days before this app was launched, it was basically a complete shutdown. No one said anyone would ever use it because of data privacy, because we're German, because it's so complicated. And now nearly every second German smartphone owner has this app. And this is the very first health app that is on that many smartphones, that is used by broad masses, and that has a health impact. So all the patients out there now finally see something like an app can change my everyday life to a better. It can inform me, I get informed, I can exchange, interact, I can check into the various locations I'm now going to. So this, for me, had the biggest transformation in power. Before telemedicine, we saw how doctors changed. Now we see with this app how every patient understood the basic principles of digitization. And even the international press is now a bit more positive. Now, DiGA Fast Track. I don't have much time. So before the DiGA Fast Track, and I had to undergo this experience myself before, there was simply no way, if you had a great digital application, to get any kind of remuneration from the first healthcare market. There was no bucket to fill your product into. This is now changed. These are all the usual buckets you would go for, but digital never fits. It's not executed by a human. It's not physical, so it simply did not fit before. These, as you probably know, are the main functions that determine if you have a DiGA, yes or no. If you don't fulfill all those requirements, you cannot enter the DiGA Fast Track. And what I am very proud of is that we do not only focus on the medical benefit with DiGA. For the first time, we very much take into consideration how is the situation of the patient in his or her everyday life changing because we now have this daily companion. Usually, all the medical science is on medical benefits for very good reasons, but we need to have a complete picture of the patient's life in order to estimate how much is this solution improving the patient, and not just the medical benefits. So here we go into various new directions, and so far, unluckily in Germany, we simply don't have science for that. We don't have concepts and study designs and all of that. This needs to be evolving now, and as a Health Innovation Hub, we very much try to push forward. We have an evidence con again in November, so if you're interested in digital forms of evidence, you should go for that conference. And what we also see is now, in the field of evidence, scientists from the medical sphere have to interact with especially those from the psychological areas. Behavioral research is very much now a topic where you want to understand how you can change the individual patterns of daily life, and it's not just on this various viewpoints where you enter a doctor's practice to have a healthcare experience. And now we have 20 DiGA in the registry, as you know, and this is, for me, always inspiring to understand what is the impact of DiGA mid to long term. At the moment, we have a lot of DiGA in terms of mental health and a few, let's say, around it, but DiGA can be understood much broader. We could have DiGA, for example, that guide me through an entire process. Let's say you get, unfortunately, a bad news from your doctor that, for example, you need to go under an operation or similar. A DiGA could already collect you at that specific point, inform you about everything you need to know, and guide you through the entire process, prepare you before you go to the hospital, support you while you're in the hospital, support you while you're in rehab, and then back in the ambulatory system. So this can be done and would significantly improve our outcomes, I am sure. If you are English speaking, there is a great BFAM guide out there which explains you everything you need to know about about the DiGA Fast Track. And if you want to get a bit broader picture, we just published our English speaking DiGA Vademecum. That's a comprehensive guide for any digital health founder in English. Now, EPA has been briefly touched, and I am over my time, so I will quick up. It's the basis for any kind of data exchange in the German healthcare system. It took us very long to get there, and the EPA is just one of the first use cases we're going to see. E-prescription will follow early next year. DiGA and the exchange formats is something that has been already discussed, but there's much more. And again, remember how the Corona warning app was displayed in media just before it was launched? If you ask the people on the streets, honestly, like, would you be interested in having something like an EPA to support you in your process, in your journey? The majority says yes. And normally all our German angst about data privacy would assume something different, but that is simply not true. Now, the EPA, as you know, is not a central solution, for example, from gematik, but every individual statutory health insurance has to issue their EPA to the patient. It is then everything around interoperability and so on is uniform, is defined by gematik and similar institutions, and it's really a joint effort, and use cases are not predominant. I do understand why at the moment EPA is not the striking success, but I do hope that we get much better in defining use cases and benefits also for doctors why they should set up such a solution. And then e-prescription is something that's going to happen in Jan next year. Unfortunately, to some extent, it's still, you get basically print out the content with a barcode. It's not yet fully electronic, but yeah, we're getting there, and at least we started. That's something in Germany which is probably equally important. Eugenia already mentioned the KHZG, the Hospital Digitalization Act. Never in the German history have there been so much money for the hospitals to digitize in 11 categories. And not only is there money, there's also some pressure. If you don't digitize, and in 4 years there's an assessment being done, you will have less revenue. So there's now a maximum pressure on all the hospitals to really digitize their entire operations, but also a lot of money to do so, which is lacking, especially if you go to the communal or Bundesland-financed hospitals. If you are interested in KZG and all that, we have a lot of webinars and websites and all such. Just go to our HRH website. Summary. Why have I quit my job at my startup and went on this 2.5-year journey? Because I think we are completely screwed as Europeans if we don't develop our own digitized healthcare sector. You will hear Google in a few minutes, how they will approach dermatology, which is also good. But be aware, we need to protect our health data and our health system. And if we simply continue to do not much, like before 2018, we will be overrun. So we should get active, have our own digital health solutions, our own infrastructure, our own understanding how we use data, because otherwise it's either the market, these are usually the American solutions, or the state, these are the Chinese solutions, which are not so predominant yet, but they will soon be here. Don't be misled there. China is very much advancing their digital health ecosystem. And there needs to be a third way, in my deep opinion, and this is why we went on this journey, and I hope you also continue to do so and support this third way where the individual, the citizen, can decide what happens with his health and his data. And now I'm over time, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for the insights, and I think everybody here agrees that if the German acts in healthcare system will provide a good environment to let develop good solutions, everybody will stick around and follow your plan and vision. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Cheyenne Hu. He's a research scientist at Google Health, and he will give us some insights about Derm Assist. but unfortunately he could not be here in person. But since we all from the lockdowns are used to having video statements, I just say, please get him up on the video screen. I'm looking, oh, here he is. Shine Hu, welcome to our Digi Derma Day. Can you hear us?
Hello, I can hear you perfectly. And thank you for your introduction. And again, apologies that I couldn't be there in person. I'm actually currently on a clinical day working in the emergency room in London. And because of our coronavirus numbers, I'm afraid all of our leave to travel to conferences has been paused for now. So thank you for your introduction. I work at Google as a research scientist, where I'm responsible for a lot of our medical imaging, including dermatology. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And I want to talk to you about some of the work that we have been doing applying artificial intelligence to dermatology. Our work in health really is a complement to our mission to try and organize the world's information and make it as universally accessible and useful to people across the globe as possible. Applying Google's expertise in AI, we think this gives us an opportunity to help people find answers to common skin conditions. We've been developing AI models in this space for a number of years, and now we're working to build and validate tools so that they can help as many people as possible. I don't need to tell you as a group that skin disease is an enormous global burden of disease, and every day there are millions and millions of people who turn to Google to research skin conditions. And indeed, across the world, many of the 2 billion people affected by skin disease are not as fortunate to have as ready access to dermatologists as may be possible in countries like Germany or Ireland. And at the same time, we know with the world's critical shortage of dermatologists, this is a situation that is unlikely to improve for many of these people in the near term. We know that we see almost 10 billion annual skin conditions and queries on Google, but ultimately describing what you have and what is wrong with your skin in words is really, really challenging. We know that users spend hours and hours searching on the internet, talking to strangers in forums, trying to find out what might be wrong with them. And they often don't arrive at the right and relevant conditions. And in many cases, those who need urgent care might not realize that they need it. A quote from a user, which I thought was particularly interesting, was saying, you know, I have a plant identification app. A skin app like that would be helpful. It would be so much more convenient than Googling. And really, it is that problem of searching in words that we've been trying to address in our research. So our AI-powered dermatology assistant tool helps users to research and identify potential skin conditions, address questions as patients discover and learn more about what might be wrong with their skin. And it's designed really to be accessible. There's no special equipment or hardware needed. You just need to be able to take a photograph using a phone and have some access to the internet. And you can see here a cartoon diagram on screen that shows what that rough flow is like in terms of a user taking a picture, possible conditions that it might be, helping in their research and deciding what possible next steps they might take. But to the point that the previous speaker made, that alone is not enough. These tools have been optimized in terms of usability with user experience research, safety to flag when our models are uncertain about the findings that they reach, and very clear options for the users to understand what information is being shown, to get more information about given conditions, and ensuring that users are clear on the privacy options so that they have the opportunity to delete or store their data as they go forwards in their journey. And to be very clear, this tool, this research and this application is not something that we would ever used for advertising purposes, nor would we allow any targeted advertising on our platforms based on health conditions. So developing and applying machine learning is one of Google's core strengths. ML powers many of our most popular smart features that many of you will be familiar with, from photos to Gmail to Translate. Developing a robust model for dermatology, however, was really, really challenging. And it's an area that we've been working in for many, many years. Because of these challenges, it took us 3 years to get anything that we felt was good enough to publish. And last year, we published a paper that some of you may have seen in Nature Medicine, describing the development of an AI model for identifying skin conditions from photographs. In recent publications, we further demonstrate that our models can help non-specialist clinicians be better at interpreting skin cases in primary care, something of real importance in parts of the world where there is a lack of access to specialists. And building on top of that, as our models have developed, in the latest models, we've expanded coverage out to almost 300 conditions, training on millions more images, and finding ways forwards, which we think will step towards clinical applicability of these tools. So recently, our latest model within this tool passed clinical validation, and we've obtained a self-certification, a Class 1 CE mark for this device. We know that on a random sample of approximately 1,000 patients with a diverse range of age, sex, race, ethnicity, and skin types, our AI model will output the right skin condition in its top 3 suggested matches 84% of the time, and in the full result list 97% of the time. So we really believe that this could be a useful tool for users as they start to research and begin their health journey. For us, this is our very first step into providing a consumer tool that helps people on these sorts of health journeys. And we hope that something that will enable our users across the world to access more timely care, to be able to educate themselves even before they have an opportunity to go and see a doctor, and to make sure, hopefully, that as many patients as possible with urgent dermatological conditions are realizing the urgency of their conditions and making it to see a dermatologist as soon as possible and practical. So to conclude, I wanted to thank you for your invitation to speak today. Apologies again that I couldn't be there in person, but I would hope that in the future I'll have a chance to meet in the real world with some of you, and indeed potentially to collaborate as we go forwards and expand our work in dermatology. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the insights. And well, if you could be here, you could have listened that you could, hear a needle fall. It was so silent in that room when you had your speech. We have now the last impulse, and I'm really happy to introduce you to Francesco Sapia. He's the COO at Skin Vision, and he will share the mission about how they started. Welcome on stage. Francesco?
I think I've got the microphone.
You got one too. All right.
And you guys can hear me, right? Great. But I've noticed that this table is a bit in the way, so if you wouldn't mind, I would do a little bit of housekeeping and slightly move it.
Francesco, we have someone there who can do... Oh, he said thumbs up.
Very good.
Because we are not...
That's
okay,
super nice.
Is that good for you?
That's absolutely good for me.
The stage is yours.
Thank you, everybody. So, great. So, welcome. I'm going to tell you a story about Skin Vision, what we do, and why we're here for. So we are on a mission. We're on a mission of saving lives. Our goal is to halve the mortality rate for skin cancer, which means saving 250,000 lives in the next 10 years. Now, we're already on the way for this amazing mission, and we've already done 50,000. So really, thanks to the help of everybody involved in the healthcare sector. So how do we do that? So we connect people with doctors and with insurance regulators and stakeholders in the healthcare sector. So how do we do that? So we've developed an app on your phone. Everybody can download it, commercially available already, Android, iOS, everywhere, where you can take a photo of a skin spot, of a skin lesion, for those of you who know the technical term, and we really connect you to the doctor when there is the need to see a doctor. And working with the doctor, we are able to route you to the right healthcare path for you. So whether that is a healthcare path that says, yeah, you need to continue monitoring your skin, but you're healthy now, or whether it's your doctor recommends you to really come back very soon, or recommends you to go for treatment or for further examination. So we really have a gelling function within the health system, healthcare. And really, what's the philosophy behind it? The philosophy is to really bring the right people at the right care at the right time. So that then we know that we need to make sure that the doctor's time is maximized for the people that really need care. And also that people that instead need to monitor their skin, they can do it within the surveillance of the doctors, but at the comfort of their own home by taking a photo of a skin spot. How does the system look like? So it's very easy to use. You just download it as a normal app. Same interface that you would have on a normal phone when you take a photo. All of us take photos on our phones. And our algorithm behind checks whether the photo at this moment is clear enough for us to make an assessment and to give you the next steps. Once all the conditions are satisfied and the photo really looks good, then we give you the green light, and then we recommend you the next step. And the next step is not a diagnosis, it's about, yes, please go and see a doctor, and we'll help you connect to the right doctor. How many people are using it at this stage? Already 2 million people. So we are a Dutch startup, well, scale up now. We have a great team of more than 50 people, including a lot of dermatologists, scientists, mathematicians, and we have therefore worked first in the Dutch healthcare system, where 75% of the population can have access for free to this technology through their insurance company. And thanks to that, as I said, as anticipated earlier, we've already made the connection between people with skin cancer and their dermatologist in more than 50,000 cases. So really contributed to alleviate and to really diagnose as early as possible these cases, because we know that skin cancer, when diagnosed early, is highly treatable. And that's what we've done. We have many patients that could testify this for us, and if you go on our website, you can see many stories. But really the bottom line is, wow, I was really in doubt whether I should go and see a doctor or not. But thanks to this assessment, that gave me the final push to go and see the doctor. How many people really struggle with the fact that, yeah, should I really bother the doctor? Should I really go? Oh, well, it might be expensive. It might be a trip. I really don't want to know the news. Really, this gives the last step to say, go and do it because it's important. And yeah, data shows what it means. Of course, we are extremely careful about having a technology that is not only validated, but really meets and exceeds all the benchmarks from the industry. So we're not just CE marked, bare minimum to work. No, we really have done way beyond that. We have really taken on voluntary certifications. We've called official notified body from the European Union to come and inspect us regularly, voluntarily, to inspect our quality systems. Do we do the things right? 1345 certification. Do we store the data that you guys entrust us with safely and effectively? Yes. 27,001 certification. Our data doesn't fly across the world. The health data doesn't go in other jurisdictions where there's less privacy, US or anywhere else. It stays in the EU, your health data. Doesn't fly over. Fully certified. We are also regulated as a dermatology clinic in the Netherlands because we have a lot of dermatologists in the organization, and we really want to make sure that the doctor is at the center and patients have that connection whenever it's needed. And of course, we are registered. We're the first AI tool registered in Australia, and we are at the moment liaising with the FDA in the United States. Scientifically proven. So there's a lot of publications on skin vision. You can see them all on our website, but this is the latest, published in the very prestigious JET journal in Europe, that proves 95% sensitivity, 95. What does it mean? It means that if there are 100 people with skin cancer that use the device, we identify 95 of them. Okay, so, and we are able to route them to the right route for them. We can speak more about the data, and I welcome the conversation in the speed dating tables, but that's really the bottom line is we don't put on the market anything that is not being fully validated by prestigious academic centers across the world. And we live in this ecosystem, and this is a slide from a very recent Deloitte study that really explains what really the value of digital health monitoring is, and where everybody can look at what is more important for them in terms of benefits, but there's many. One of these is to make sure that we help doctors to see the patients that really need care, the patients for which it's more, I don't want to use the word valuable to be there, but really it is, because it's a matter of life and death. It's not just a matter of checking something that is clearly benign. But really many benefits all over the place for hospitals, healthcare professionals. I'm not going to go too far because you can read the study, and I really recommend you to do so. But really it's about creating an ecosystem where doctors and patients are connected at the right time, in the right place. And that's what we are on about. We work already with many high caliber international partners. Mostly insurance companies, pharmaceuticals companies, healthcare systems. Because why? Because having the right patient at the right time is something that is so simple to understand, and this really benefits everybody. It benefits health insurances because, of course, there's a huge decrease in cost of care because, detecting melanoma when there's already metastases all over can cost up to 200K to treat. Detecting it early and making sure that the doctor is in the loop early can save a lot of money. Same thing for pharmaceutical companies. It's very important for them to make sure that we help to target early cancers. Same thing for healthcare systems, and I could go on for a while, but we have a lot of great partners that really help us, and we really thank for really making this possible. So really, all I can say is join us in this great mission. We're here to save 250,000 lives, so let's do it together. And next step, you can download the app. Just scan it, and this is pre-filled with a code that you can use the app, of course, for free. Email us at doctors@skinvision.com, and let's get in touch. And let's see how we can help you to help your patients. So that's it from us.
Thank you so much, Francesco. Thank you so much for joining us on stage and giving us your insights. And now, Klaus, what did you say in the beginning? Let's get ready to rumble. Right? And now we're actually doing it, because now it's time to get the digital health companies up on stage. And, since they're grown-ups and they're already, with products in the market, we actually cannot say they should pitch. But I guess everybody understands if I say pitch, that's going to be a short teaser, and that's actually what's going to happen now. The 5 digital health companies are presenting their products, their ideas in 4 minutes. So let's get all the attention to them. And I really like to introduce at the first Tobias Seidel. He's the co-founder and CEO of Niamed Health. And please come up on stage. You're getting a microphone from me, right? All right, okay. Tobias, you know how to do it. 4 minutes. The stage is yours.
Thanks for the invitation. Tobias Seil, one of the co-founders of Nia Health. We are developing the first dermatological DIGA. Patients with chronic skin conditions face many burning questions in the beginning. Many of them seek answers from Dr. Google. And many of them also go so-called doctor hopping, meaning approaching many different experts. It's cost a lot of time, money, and nerves. We are addressing exactly this challenge by improving doctor-patient communication. We are helping patients to document and analyze their health history very precisely, and we always do this with the direct integration of clinically validated expert knowledge. Our first application, the atopic dermatitis app Nia, is the first atopic dermatitis app worldwide, which is registered as a medical device. Brief impression how this looks like. With sound. I also want to give you a brief overview about the technology we are using behind our applications. So as you've seen, the user can enter the data via clinically validated scores, via image information, via textual information, but we're also using the sensor technology of the smartphone. So the environmental data of the user, of the patient, is directly integrated into our calculations. So all the data is then processed by state-of-the-art technologies, and then providing personalized recommendation back to the patient. What are the benefits for doctors? Since we are adding direct value to patients through clinically validated empowerment, we are improving doctor-patient communication. Doctor-patient communication becomes more efficient, and we are increasing the patient adherence. So via gamification and reminder functionalities. Let me briefly introduce our team. Very diverse. Remal Nebari, board-certified dermatologist responsible for the medical development. I'm Tobias. I'm responsible for the business development. As an experienced CTO from the digital health scene, Oliver is responsible for the technological development. So our team embodies digital health, medtech, and venture building expertise. Finally, also want to give you a brief overview about our reached milestones. We launched our first medical device, the atopic dermatitis app Nia, in 2019, and gained international attention via diverse innovation competitions like the EIT Health Head Start Award. And we are already cooperating with big natural health insurances. And our next steps actually opening our technology for further integrations with our psoriasis and acne apps in the pipeline. We want to get one step closer to our vision, helping all people, all patients with chronic skin conditions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tobias, for the very short notice and teaser for Nia. And now I'm very, very happy to call up on stage Larissa. She's the co-founder and the CEO of Uvisio. And why I'm saying I'm so happy and thrilled to see her, because we know each other for very many years. She used to be a startup, not a digital company then, but a startup at an incubator program, which is called Startup Bootcamp. So Larissa, I'm so happy to see you back on stage. And here's your microphone. And the 4 minutes, as you always know, are running.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Do you hear me well? Hello? Okay. So I'm very pleased to be here finally offline. This is very exciting. I haven't pitched for many months like this. So I'm Larissa. I'm a founder of Uvisio, and actually I'm also a pharma skin cancer patient, and I could not wait for any solution anymore. So because I was so afraid of getting skin cancer again, so I developed it with my team and myself. So I came to the idea that I need solution for people like me to overcome this. Because I'm not alone. Every fifth person might develop skin cancer within a lifetime. And I also learned that UV radiation, so sun is one of the most important or the most common factors of getting skin cancer. So my first idea was very small. I just wanted to have a small sensor that measures UV light once you're outside and warns you when it's getting too much sun. But then it developed into actually two products that we have already available. And what you can do with our product, this is actually a small sensor and small wearable sensor and a mobile application. And what you can do with this small wearable device, you can measure your skin tone before being exposed to the sun. And then you just take this device outside, you do your outdoor activities, you get the warning when it's too much sun, but in the end you can also measure how your skin reacted to the sun. And I think that these parameters are this data that we can gather is very unique and important for the UV-induced for the prevention of the UV-induced skin diseases. And therefore, I'm really happy to present what we have right now. So in the app, you have the skin profile that shows you your melanin index before and after exposure, and also the erythema index. It means that how your skin reacts to the sun. This is the sensor is actually used for example, during Corona times, everybody learned about this device that can measure oxygen saturation, how much oxygen your lungs actually can produce, and we are using the similar sensor, so it's very precise. The problem, is quite big, and the market value is 11 billion, so these are the sun protection products that we measure, and this because of the skin cancer awareness and awareness about the UV exposure is getting stronger. We also have 7% growth per year. Per month is very optimistic. Yeah, of course we are not alone, but what really differentiates us from other companies is that we really can gather a lot of valuable data in terms of your skin reaction to the sun, not only UV that you're getting. As I already told, we have two products. We have a basic sensor for a very affordable price that measures only UV exposure, and we have another product that also measures the skin reaction before and after exposure. And our milestones, we started with Startup Bootcamp, as Jessica already told, and there has been a long way of development, and then we were also really hit very hard by Corona, unfortunately, because our first market was for travelers, and you know that traveling was completely not very easy. This was really tough times for us, but we survived, so I'm happy that we did it. And judging by what we received, we also selling our devices online. What feedback we received this year, given that traveling was difficult, helps us understand that this is the product that really needed on the market, and we continue with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Larissa. I'm very happy to see how you did the development. And now I'd like to introduce you on stage, Alfonso Medela from Spain, introducing us his company, and it's called Legit Health. You are the co-founder and actually also the Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer. So here you go. let's rock the stage.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for being here. So I'm Alfonso Medela, I'm Chief AI Officer of Legit Health, as she explained, and so I'm really proud to be here. So we are Legit Health. Legit Health is a clinical tool for the next generation dermatologist. It's an AI-based and CE-marked tool that offers clinical diagnosis and severity estimation for 232 skin conditions. So we're focused in automating the severity estimation. So basically, we identify gradual and very subtle changes in the diseases. And we enable the remote, automated, and agile monitoring of the diseases. In addition, we also assess the treatment effectiveness with all this data. So the tool reduces by 33% the time required by patient, and also reduces the time filling the scoring systems. In addition, it contributes to a reduction of wrong or late diagnosis by 35%. So why is this relevant? So regarding medical centers, we offer several benefits. A reduction in cost due to medical resource optimization, also fast and zero variability triage, we offer treatment effectiveness data, which also contributes to time to treatment reduction. Of course, it improves patient experience, and it gives better healthcare outcomes. How does it work? As it was explained here before, the dermatology was based all in manual tasks, all paper, and we can say that severity estimation is medieval. So before, the dermatologist used to use a paper where they fill the so-called scoring systems, which are clinically validated and are used to assess the severity of a disease. Today, with Legit Health, we present the APROM, what we call the automatic patient-reported outcome measures. So in Legit Health, we believe that the doctors are the best algorithms. However, in very specific tasks, the algorithms can outperform the consensus of large clinical boards. So for example, saying how big the disease is or how red the disease is, it is a task more for the algorithms. So this is how we help. It all consists in using a smartphone or the smartoscope image together with surveys of quality of life and symptoms, and with this, the clinical signs of the scoring systems are automatically filled. This is based in deep learning and computer vision algorithms, which have very high sensitivity and specificity that varies depending on the task that you are performing. So the journey is really easy for the patient. The patient is always enrolled by a medical center. Once he has the account, he's able to upload pictures, and the algorithms do the magic. It's worth mentioning that also it has a picture quality check, which is developed by us, and we check the dermatological quality of the images. And to finish, the application has two main sides or roles, one for the doctors and the other one for the patients. Those are completely different. The doctor has access to more information, reports of the possible diseases, of pre-malignancy suspicion, and more information that he can modify, and the patient sees this data once it's confirmed. He can also see the evolution of the disease based on those scoring systems. All this is accessible via web application. It's very easy to access. There is no need to install software, and it works across all devices. The algorithms can also be accessed via API and integrate within any ecosystem. So thank you very much. Today we will be performing a live demo, then in the network session. So please join us, and always in legit.health. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Alfonso. Well, if you have a live demo on the network tables, I'm going to go down too. So, I want to see that too. We have the next digital health company, and I'd like to welcome on stage Dr. Katharina Dormans. She is the CTO of Dermatologics. Please come on stage. And as far as I know, you have another speaker from your company here. Is that right? Or it's only you? All right, thank you. So please, Katharina, come on board or on stage. You got the 4 minutes, but I can introduce Dr. Natalie Garzo-Stark, also in the back, right? Or are you coming on top? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Tight, but I think you should actually come up, Katharina.
All right. Now, please, two ladies, come up on stage. So I'm correcting. So you are Dr. Natalie Garzo-Stark, right? The CEO of Dermatologics, and you are Dr. Katharina Dormans, the CTO, right? So please. It's not your time. I took so long, but now you got 4 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. So we are Dermatologics, and we are providing the first comprehensive digital platform for molecular diagnostics in dermatology. So 1/3 of the population suffers from at least one skin disease. And the good news is actually that we can treat our patients better than ever before because we have those modern therapies now on the market and more are to come. The bad news is actually that these therapies are administered on a basis that is on a diagnostic basis that has not changed over the last years. So it's mainly based on the evaluation of the clinical morphology of the lesion and on histomorphology. And this can be imprecise and subjective, and it can lead to misdiagnosis. So up to 50% of patients are misdiagnosed in some entities and can, of course, then receive the wrong therapies. Also, with all the conventional therapies we have now on the market, we cannot predict which patient will respond to which therapy, and we cannot predict individual causes of disease. And one discipline that will tremendously change this, and this will come actually in the future, and it's already about to come, is molecular diagnostics. Only molecular diagnostics can really implement precision medicine. And actually, office-based dermatologists would use more molecular diagnostics if technical feasibility was given. And that's exactly the problem. Actually, I might do it later.
Okay.
So this was exactly the problem we had a couple of years ago. We developed a test, a thorax test, a molecular test to differentiate psoriasis and eczema from each other better than conventional diagnostics. However, although we could kind of prove superiority of this test over conventional diagnostics, we realized that this test would actually never be brought to a broad circle of patients if performed manually. Because manual performance of this test requires a high standard lab, it requires a lot of resources and money, and there's this human factor because human errors in this long procedure of this molecular assay. So we decided to really develop a fully automated platform to bring molecular diagnostics to everyone and anywhere in the world where it's needed. And that's exactly the device that Katharina has in her hands. So the system consists of the lab discs. It's a test cartridge where you can insert your skin sample. It can be a biopsy, but also a tape strip. And then this disc is inserted like a CD into a CD player into the lab disc player. And all the complex steps of the assays are performed fully automated based on microfluidics technology. And the signals detected here in this device are then sent to a software. It can be on a pad, on an iPad, or on a computer. And they are analyzed according to a specific algorithm. And then a precise diagnosis is delivered within 60 to 90 minutes. So what are the products that we have in the pipeline? It's first of all the thorax test, the first test that I mentioned. The second one is a mutation X. So all the therapy-relevant tumor mutations in malignant melanoma will be discovered within this short time. And we have LymphX, the third test, where we can detect early lymphoma, T-cell lymphoma, differentiated from benign inflammation, which is currently not possible with conventional diagnostics. And of course, we are having an own pipeline that is going to grow, but we are also open for other collaborations, for other companies that have really complex, cool tests, but they are lacking out on actually a technical platform for that. So where are we now? We are about to complete our seed round of 2 million euros that will bring us to the design freeze next year so that we can enter in the market in 2023. So we are not yet on the market, but hopefully we are on the market soon. And who are we? We are an interdisciplinary team of dermatologists, microfluidic engineers, as Katharina, and also of biologists and bioinformaticians. So our goal is to really identify the need at the patient bed and then discover new biomarkers in the tissue based on AI-based algorithm on the omics data that we have, and then really develop new assays that can then be translated onto the disk. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are really happy to receive your feedback also in the session later on.
Thank you very much, you both. And I'm sorry that I interrupted your fluent speech by thinking, oh, she needs the pointer. She needs it. But you didn't need it. Thank you so much. I like to introduce you now and welcome you to Greg, our last digital health company, who is pitching now. He is the CEO from Dermos, and the company is located right in Budapest, or the headquarters is in Budapest.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh, you got a headset.
Yeah,
that is very
I
good.
need my arm.
All right, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Skin Vision, for this very impressive number of saving 250 million of lives. We share the same vision. But with an addendum that we will save the rest. And I will tell you how. So Dermos is a startup from Budapest. It was a joint project, university research project with the Semmelweis University and Pázmány University, and the research results are now brought to the market by Dermos. So we have 10 employees, one dermatologist, software engineers, and hardware engineers. And our goal is to really digitize skin health. And that's why I'm here. How we do this? So back to the former presentations today, all the projects were about optical analysis of the pictures of the skin. And we believe that the future must serve more. How? That we believe we have to add here a new technology which we can see underneath the skin. So to analyze what is happening under the skin top surface, what is happening on the skin layers, dermis, epidermis, and so on. So therefore, we developed a device and a technology, a patented technology, and the software. So the hardware, this is the digitizer, let's say, the skin scanner. This uses ultrasound, high-frequency ultrasound, and optics in one. So this is a joint technology. Therefore, we can produce such a 3D skin tomography-like image. This is our current device. This is Class 2A certified. It's a small series production device for testing. But the next generation device is presented on the picture there. This will use your own mobile phone as a separate so the hardware will be a separate peripheral, let's say, a USB-C driven skin analyzer using ultrasound and optics. The current device can image. This picture was taken yesterday in Monaco in this anti-aging conference. So this is my mole here. We take the optical image, and where the red line is, there will be the ultrasonic cross-section image taken. This is my mole. So if you are a dermatologist working in a clinic or in a hospital where you have an existing high-frequency ultrasound imager like Cortex or the Sonosite from Vivo, whatever you have, we have a patented technology to produce same 3D skin tomography images without our skin scanner, but with your existing dermoscopic device and with your existing ultrasonic device. Therefore, we used a special sticker, you can then take a picture about the sticker and the lesion, and then take the gel and the ultrasonic images, and we can merge the two, all the different cross-sectional images of ultrasound. This is one cross-section here. This is one ultrasonic image here. We have automated segmentation. So this is the lesion at this cross-section. But since we take multiple cross-sectional images, therefore we can map the depth image of the ultrasonic images to the optical image. Why is it good? This is now under evaluation. We have certain applications here. As we see, it can be used in all dermoscopic and dermatologic applications, but the best is the skin cancer treatment and excision planning. But in the cosmetic applications, in the needle tracement, it can be very useful. So to sum up, there are some other solutions on the market. So there are the portable ultrasonic devices and the portable dermoscopic devices, but we can merge the two. And with our AI-driven algorithms, we can analyze not only the surface images, but the ultrasonic images as well, therefore providing better diagnosis, of course, as a second opinion. This whole story helps the doctor's job by speeding up the diagnosis and the treatment and the planning and the excision itself. With our reporting module, we can help by patient involvement, by the reports we generate the patient journey. So where we are now, we are ISO certified, and this device is, as I've mentioned, is CE, has the CE mark as an ultrasonic skin imager. But for the skin cancer treatment application, we will start in 2 weeks study with the Schleswig-Holstein University in Lübeck to validate this application. We are cooperating with big pharma companies, and yes, so we are a pre-revenue company. That's important. So we will start distributing our products next year. And yeah, I'm happy to discuss the rest during the roundtable discussions. And thank you for your attention.
Greg, thank you so much for introducing your startup, because now I can see that you're kind of like in an early stage, not early stage, yeah, but you're not yet on the market. Greg, sorry to say, but can you please help us? I would have loved to say your family name, but I couldn't pronounce it. So please, would you be so kind?
Szikszai Molnár.
Thank you so much, and please, you understand why I couldn't pronounce that.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody, we are kind of behind schedule, but I really think we all need a bio break. So we have 10 minutes now. Grab some food, go to the sanitary, or do whatever you want. Keep, jumping or, moving so your blood circulates. And I see you back at 3:50 p.m. here back in the room. And please, everybody who is like, oh, you heard the bell? As soon as the bell rings, everybody please in. And for all the viewers outside on the screens, be back at 10 minutes before 4. Bye-bye. So, everybody back from the bio break, and I hope the viewers outside on the screens also grabbed like a cup of coffee or some water and chatted with a friend about the digital health companies who just performed here on stage. Before we start with our speed dating round, I kind of like to introduce you to Joscha Hofferbert and Jan Elsner to come up on stage. Please, you guys, come up on stage. Yeah, exactly. I kind of like to introduce you to Joscha. He is the head of innovation at the Berlin incubator Vision Health Pioneers. And he's actually sponsoring the, how do you say, prize, the giveaway, yeah, the prize for tonight. And then Jan Elsner. He's actually one of the winners of last year Digi Derma Startup Café, because then we called us Startup Café. And he is also developed a digital health solution, and he won the wild card. And as you probably can see, what we're now trying to do is to tell you what's all about the prize and what actually offers the young startups or the grown-ups, what can they participate, what they can get out of it. So who's starting from you guys first? So it's Jan. So please make some noise for the wild card winner from last year's Digi Derma Startup Café.
Thank you. So yeah, my name is Jan Elsner, and this photo is from last year. And in this presentation, I would like to introduce you how Digi Derma 2020 made me go from patient to entrepreneur. It all started more or less with a problem I had. I'm one of many patients suffering from psoriasis, a chronic skin disease which unfortunately has no cure, but there are good therapies. And for me, I discovered that phototherapy was highly efficient for me. But I had one problem, even though it was highly effective, had over 30 years of clinical evidence, and came with a good cost-benefit ratio. As a patient, I had the issue of the high time related, which is connected to the therapy. In total, usually I needed 30 sessions at the dermatologist's office. And on the one hand, I always had to drive there, which is not very sustainable, but also had the problem that the treatment sessions always clash with my working hours. And over time, I realized that I'm not the only one who has this problem. There are many patients who have to take care of kids, who live maybe in a village, or have a job like me, who is very hardly compatible with the treatment. Back then, I was working at Bremen University, and I thought maybe we can start a project together to find a solution for this problem. And this is how I found out about BVDD. And I contacted Dr. Uwe Schwichtenberg, and I was very surprised how open and motivated and passionate he was about digital health solutions. And not him, but also so many other people from the Berufsverband. And together we started this small student project and more or less developed this vision of a digital system for a safe home treatment, which is following the medical guidelines for phototherapy. And this is more or less what we presented. We haven't even been like a grown-up or a startup. It was just the idea. And then we went into these table discussions, which are about to start in a few minutes. And yeah, we just had one core goal. We came there to learn because we had this big ambition that we wanted to create value, not only for patients like me, but also for dermatologists and health insurances. And Digi Derma 2020 was the perfect place to do all this. There's so many people from so many disciplines and the perfect learning opportunity we could have ever had. And then, big surprise, and we've been very happy about this, we won the wildcard to the Vision Health Pioneers Incubator. An exciting journey started from that point on. We were able to build a team. I actually moved from Bremen to Berlin. We got a lot of workshops, coaching, mentoring, including Jessica, actually, who was a great help for us. And step by step, we developed the solution from the concept we originally had and found so many engaged dermatologists who helped us with their feedback, which has been a great help. And within this 9-month incubator, we realized that to make phototherapy safe at home, we basically need monitoring for dermatologists, guidance for patients, and connectivity for therapy devices. And so we started developing. First, our digital therapy manager for dermatologists, which allows an easy creation and adaptation of therapy plans based on the guidelines from the medical professionals. Then we had a patient app, which receives the treatment plan, guides through the therapy, and involves safety checks before each session. And finally, a Bluetooth connector for therapy devices from different manufacturers, allowing an automatic doses transfer to make the treatment more safe and more efficient. 24 hours after a session, the patient could provide a feedback how the skin reacted to the treatment, because you know UV light can also have its harm, as UVZU stated. And yeah, this feedback could be used in order to adapt the treatment plan if possible. And then we discovered that we actually had a lot of data points we could actually use to calculate the probability of a side effect even before it occurs to make the treatment more safe. And yeah, this was the point where we did the first prototype test, and we realized that also our digital system really engages patients, and we can really help people, not people like me, but also other patients. And it was very motivating for me. So and after 9 months of incubator, we had the opportunity to pitch our idea to a large audience. It was a big milestone for us. And another very big milestone for us was to register the company. So this was actually 2 weeks ago. So now we are a real startup. Of course, there's still a lot for us to do, a lot of testing, certification, but step by step, it's super nice to see this idea grow. And more or less, it all started here at Digi Derma Café 2020. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone who made this happen, to the whole BVDD, but also the Vision Health Pioneers Incubator, who helped us so much. And we would like to continue working with anyone who is interested in collaborating with us, because we really want to create innovation together and have value. So may Digi Derma 2021 plant as many idea seeds as we had it last year. And at this point, I would like to hand over to Joscha, whose incubator was a great help for us.
Joscha, please let me just jump in right now, because maybe you could see from that speech from Jan that the wildcard is actually, and to being a participant at Vision Health Pioneers, is when you're really a startup, when you're not founded yet. And as a dynamic team, me and Joshua talked on the bio break about it. You all guys who had the pitches here today are already founded. But Joscha wouldn't be the head of innovations at the Vision Health Pioneers when he would not be able to adjust the price just it fits you the most. And really, now a big clap, because you, with your agility, really came up with a very, very great idea, and I'm happy that you adjusted just in time. So now the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, indeed, it is true. We at the Vision Health Pioneers Incubator, we support very early stage startups like Skinovita, Lease Life back then when they presented here at the Digi Derma Day. I will say something about the price later, but I would like to take you on to a very, very short journey on how a life as a very, very early stage startup looks like in Germany. Of course, the startups that are here present, they all know the burdens and the problems that they are facing, but I would like to share that also with you, and like to share how we support these startups. Just to give you a bit, or just to take one glimpse up, as you can see here, this is, probably some of you have seen this chart already. This is the German healthcare system. This is where most of you, the doctors, are in the German healthcare system. This is where the insurance companies are. And what I find most interesting is this is where the patients are in the German healthcare system. And all these other structures around it are to facilitate and make it possible that the patients can be treated accordingly. Oops, that was one too fast. Up there in the top, you see the startups and the companies that are supporting, that are building the solutions for the patients. And as you can imagine, due to these facts, due to the complexity of this system, there are a lot of burdens and barriers that the startups face. And this was one of the reasons why we founded Vision Health Pioneers. We wanted to give the young startups an opportunity to and the support to get over these burdens. As you can imagine, and probably you know, that there are specific burdens also and barriers in the healthcare system, like the regulatory topics, like product market fit, really to develop a product that fits the needs of the patients, as well as the doctors, as well as the people that are actually using the solution. That is more complex than you have it in any other industry that you can think about. Of course, certification is a very important topic. It is a topic that creates barriers, but that also creates a certain level of security for the patients, but also for the company itself. But there are some other, or a couple of other topics that are relevant for other institutions or other industries as well as the healthcare system. I don't want to go in too deep into these topics today. But as I said, that was the reason why we founded Vision Health Pioneers, to give young people that have a good idea, like it was the case with Skinovita, and the possibility to really build a system. And what I would like to focus on here is that the importance for us was always to bring together the most important, or the important stakeholders of the system into one room and work together with them. Just a short introduction to the incubator. So we have a 10-month program. This used to be a 9-month program. We now extended it to a 10-month program. We are supporting 40 startups or 40 entrepreneurs in the development of their solution. We are funded by the European Social Fund and the Senate of Berlin with 1.8 million for 2 years. And we have 3 batches for the next 2 years, meaning 3 batches with 4 teams. 4 or 5 teams usually, and the next batch will start in January, and then in March, and in July the next year. We have a structured program where the teams get workshops, they get coachings, mentorings, and important also for us is the network that we build up to support the teams in the development. And I think Jan can say something about this probably as well. That this is one of the aspects that really helps the team. So I don't want to go into detail. Maybe you've seen already some partners that you already know, like Flying Health, which is also here present today, but also companies like Taylor Wessing as a law firm to help with the regulatory stuff, but also Fraunhofer Design, etc., and also pharma companies to build up relationships with the companies that we are supporting and support them in their development to a startup. As I said, we have a network of companies, but also of a lot of coaches and mentors that support the teams on a regular basis on their specific needs, on helping them finding the solutions, finding the right contacts, finding the right expertise that they need to develop something that is valuable and that also fits then the needs of the user itself. It's a 10-month program where we have 3 stages. The first stage is evaluating, and this is very important, the first stage, and I want to focus on this only today and not talk about the rest, because it is extremely important for us, as we see that especially in that early stage, to really first identify what is the need of the user. What is the need of the patient? It doesn't make sense to develop something and only ask a couple of years later, actually, what are we solving? What kind of problem are we solving? That needs to be in the center of everything that is developed, and that's what we're trying to do in the first phase. Short introduction, or very important for us, is also not only focus on German experts and startups, but also we have startups from all over the world coming here to Berlin, which is important for us because, as you've seen here, it is a very diverse and a very international startup scene, and we need to bring them here into Germany also to learn from them, to learn from other systems, to learn where does it work well, where doesn't it work well, how can we also adapt certain situations or certain topics and products from other markets to here, and what needs to be changed in that. That's also an important topic because the German healthcare market, as you all know, is complex, is very special, but it needs therefore also solutions that needs to be adapted to these needs. Last but not least, just a quick overview of our teams. Skinovita is one as well. We have 6 teams this year. The big finale was a couple of weeks ago where they had the demo day where they all presented themselves. If you want to look it up, it's online. You can see it on YouTube. It was a fantastic event, and you can also see Jan pitching and the other teams, and I think it's very important or interesting probably for you as well to just get an idea of what came out of 9 months, because it's interesting to see where they started just an idea and where they are now. And this in 9 months, that's amazing to see these young people developing this in that time. Just one last aspect that I would like to point out. I already said it before, but I think we cannot develop solutions just the companies on their own. We need to do this together. We need to do it together in the way of helping each other, supporting the startups, not just supporting them to grow, but also giving them the right expertise, the right experience from your side, from the doctor's side, and giving them the expertise that they need to develop something that fits your needs and that fits your patient's needs, so that it is not something that is put on top of your work, but that is built into your work and that can support you in your work in general. So thank you very much for taking the time. In regards to the price, as Jessica already said, the startups here are all very mature, but what we would like to do is support the startups with our network, support the startups also with our mentoring network, give the startups the context that they need to the network, but also provide them with some mentoring that we can facilitate then, and invite them also to our space to work together and get some knowledge for them, and also the market access into the German market. Thank you.
Thank you, Joscha. And you guys, this is now live up on stage, and the video is filming on it. Would you do it for like everybody who would come and ask for help, or is it just one? So it's one, right?
Of course, as I love to support startups and as I love to support young entrepreneurs, of course we do it for everyone. But I think that the winners from today, they get a little bit of a special treatment.
You got it. Thank you so much, Joscha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. See, this is how you build up community. You just say, oh, come on, give it me a little more, give me a little more, give me a little more. But thank you so much, Joscha. Now, the hard time is coming. Like when you think you rumbled, you will rumble now. Like really. Because now it's time for speed dating. And how we're going to do that, I'm going to tell you quick now the playing rules. So all the digital health companies, because you guys are not startups, we know, please, you have to make little rounds on each table. And how we do that is very easy. We start with the first digital health company, which would be NIA, right? You guys started first with the pitch at table number 1, which is right here. And then we go to, who was next? It was Uvisio, which will go onto table number 2, which is right there. So Larissa, you are perfectly on spot. Very good. And then Legit Health, which pitched on the position 3, please go to your table number 3. And then we have Dermatologics, which would go on table 4, which is right on that corner. And then we have Demos, which would go on table 5. And actually Skin Vision, which did the Impulse, would really participate on the speed dating too, so it will take place on table 6. What we do is that everybody who is as a mentor, as a feedback giver, as an inspiration, please tell all the digital health startups the knowledge you have, the expertise you have, share it with them. Because this is the value, this is the asset. You share your knowledge with those digital health companies. Maybe you find partnership, co-creation, and all these kind of things. Each digital health company has exactly 8 minutes, because we kind of like behind schedule, so it's only 8 minutes on each table. And then we will rotate, which means Nia on table 1, please go to table 2, right? And Skin Vision, which was on table 6, please walk over to table number 1. So please rotate clockwise. I know it's not really a clock, but I think you get the vision of it, how it's going to work. On each table, there is one leading judge, one leading mentor. Why is that? Because we need to find out who is going to win the special prize for the Vision Health Pioneers program. And one of the leading mentors, judges, is, for example, on table number 6, Dr. von Kidrowski, the president. So please make a little wave. Everybody who is, yes, exactly. Please, can every leading mentor or leading judge from the table just raise their hands? I think you all addressed. Good, good. So you guys on the table know who is the leading mentor. And to help you for the judgment, please find on the tables some helping notes, how you could judge them, or what are the criteria, what maybe you could ask them. So I hope with that I totally explained the rules. There's one more little thing which is really important. That's actually Sophia, who is just filming right now. That's the bell. So every time she rings the bell, please make a rotation. Exactly. Thank you for helping out here. That's awesome. So this is going to be it. And on the viewers outside on the stream, since it's obvious we cannot, put you with the microphones on site or on the tables, I'll see you guys in a bit when we're going to share the winner of this special prize today for Vision Health Pioneers. Please, thumbs up for everybody got the notice? All right, that sounds very, very good. You guys, it's starting now. Ja, liebe Zuschauerinnen und Zuschauer vor dem Stream, wir sind zurück und wie Sie vielleicht hören, wir sind auch wieder sozusagen in der deutschen Sprache angekommen. Damit haben wir auch begonnen. Es ist soweit. Herr Dr. von Kidrowski wird jetzt jeden Augenblick sozusagen den Gewinner des Special Prizes von Vision Health Pioneers, nochmal herzlichen Dank an Joscha Hofferbert, für diesen Preis verkünden. Aber lieber Herr Dr. von Kidrowski, Sie haben zwar jetzt alle Feedback bekommen, ne? Aber das war ja eher mehr im Austausch. Hätten Sie die Ehre, uns allen einmal zu jedem vielleicht so 2, 3 Sätze zu sagen und dann den Gewinner zu verkünden?
Ja, wir können die Veranstaltung noch ein paar Stunden hinziehen.
Sie schaffen das in Kürze.
Ja, liebe Jessica, erst noch mal vielen Dank an unseren Inkubator, an den Preis, denn eigentlich kann ich da jetzt ganz sorgenfrei einen Gewinner verkünden, weil wir ja gehört haben, alle werden profitieren. Und das ist schon mal sehr wichtig, denn ich glaube auch gerade aus der Diskussion aller Jurytische und Juryverantwortlichen, es war extrem spannend und man sagt das zwar immer, aber ich glaube, heute ist es extrem gerechtfertigt. Das, was uns hier präsentiert wurde, ist genau der Grund, warum diese Veranstaltung hier dann wahrscheinlich in die Tradition gehen muss, weil es wirklich Ideen waren, die von allem etwas geboten haben. Und die Unterschiede waren hinterher auch aus den einzelnen Juryurteilen sehr unterschiedlich, je nachdem eben welchen Blickwinkel man hatte. Es hat ein diagnostisches oder mehrere diagnostische Tools gegeben, die alle tatsächlich nicht nur Leben retten werden, sondern die Versorgung darstellen können, die Prävention darstellen können, die Hautkrebs verhindern. Das ist eine wichtige Sache. Das ist eine Zukunftsaufgabe der Dermatologie in den nächsten Jahrzehnten. Und da sind viele dieser Tools tatsächlich geeignet. Und Nuancen bestehen eigentlich dann nur im Zugang zu den unterschiedlichen Versorgungssystemen. Und da ist natürlich Europa sehr unterschiedlich. Da wird man schauen, wo mit welchem Produkt gegebenenfalls die Idee am ehesten zu realisieren ist. Wir haben Interessantes erfahren, zum Beispiel zum Thema von Verlaufskurs, ein Thema in der Dermatologie, was wir vom Berufsverband schon lange propagieren, was wichtig ist in der Verordnungsrealität, wo wir uns natürlich auch Therapie ansprechen, dokumentieren müssen und das ein Stück weit in die Hände von Patienten zu geben mit validierten Tools und damit sozusagen die Dokumentation und auch damit die Verordnungssicherheit stärken zu können. Eine ganz interessante Geschichte und ganz interessantes Feld. Wir haben natürlich patientenzentrierte Lösungen hier gesehen, die Compliance fördern, die gegebenenfalls auch die Möglichkeit von Versorgungsdaten, die Möglichkeiten sogar neuer Therapiealgorithmen darstellen, sei es, dass ich über ein Tracking des Erfolges die Medikation theoretisch verändern kann. Alles Dinge, die im täglichen Leben mit den Patienten entsprechend immer wieder besprochen werden und wo wir in der Praxis tatsächlich dann auch Antworten geben müssen. Und es war extrem eng. Und ich glaube trotz allem, dass sich, wie gesagt, alle freuen können, dass es eine einfach treffen muss, die dann sozusagen diesen Riesenpreis bekommen wird. Und aus der Meinung aller, nachdem wir das dann nochmal beleuchtet haben, ist es dann eigentlich sogar zu einem einstimmigen Votum gekommen, dass wir gesagt haben, es ist eine Idee dabei, die so in die Breite gehen kann und ein Patientenkollektiv anspricht, dass wir eben nicht erst in der Endstrecke bei der Tumorverhinderung in den Praxen haben, sondern gegebenenfalls in der Prävention. Und das ist ja das Allerbeste, was wir im Fach leisten können, Hautkrebs zu verhindern. Entsprechend adressieren können, dass niederschwellig an den Patienten gebracht werden kann und die Arbeit in den Praxen erleichtert. Und deswegen gratulieren wir Uvisio zum Gewinn des Digi Derma Preis 2021. Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Larissa, come up here. And Joscha, please, the one who is... Nein, Entschuldigung, jetzt haben wir schon wieder ein bisschen mit ins Englische gewechselt. Aber Joscha, bitte komm auch mit auf die Bühne. Larissa, oh.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Ich freue mich so. Klasse. Nein, komm her. Herzlichen Glückwunsch, das ist wunderbar. So, vielleicht einmal den Preisgeber und die Gewinnerin. Sie beide werden jetzt zusammengeführt.
Ja, kommen Sie doch in unsere Mitte.
Ja, wunderbar. Ich finde, das ist nochmal ein Riesenapplaus wert für alle. Danke, dass ihr dabei wart. Ja, bitte. Einmal nochmal an den Preisgeber.
I don't know English, German, but I'm very excited that actually our work for so many years and sometimes very good times, sometimes very bad times actually got approved. I cannot explain how happy I am to be on this stage and hear that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just one word from my side. We are super happy to help and support you with whatever we can support. But we also saw that there is a huge potential from our side, and as we think that you have a good way forward, we would like to support you in the next steps and see how we can move on together there. Thank you very much.
Ja, und wenn diese App jetzt auf Strahlen reagiert, dann muss sie jetzt ganz hoch ausschlagen.
Sehr gut, genau so. So, vielen Dank. Genau, wir haben unsere Gewinnerin des besonderen Preises, aber hier ging es ja heute nicht ums Gewinnen. Es ging ja darum, dass wir einen Austausch zwischen Fachexperten aus dem Gesundheitswesen mit jungen Gründerinnen und Gründern haben. Ich glaube, das haben wir heute hier bewiesen. Und Herr Dr. von Kiedrowski, herzlichen Dank, dass Sie uns schon mal so ein bisschen Mut gemacht haben, vielleicht für eine nächste Runde. So hatte ich das zumindest wahrgenommen. Ganz klasse. Ich danke allen hier, die dabei waren. Ich danke dem ganzen BVDD-Team für die Organisation, für all das, was Sie hier getan haben. Give it a big hand. Ich danke Ihnen draußen, dass Sie mit zugeschaut haben und ich wünsche uns jetzt allen noch einen schönen, wie heißt es so schön im Programm, Meet-and-Mingle-Abend. Es gibt Snacks, Essen und Getränke. Tauschen Sie sich aus, haben Sie gute Gespräche und kommen Sie später gut heim. Dankeschön.
Und vielen Dank für die tolle Moderation. Das würden wir nicht vergessen.